Welcome back
to our healthy family cooking show.
Hey guys, today we're going to be making one of my favorite dishes. It's called butternut squash pasta. We took a whole butternut squash, cut it in half, and then I had to cut this one in half again because this thing was huge. We got it at the farmer's market on Saturday. I baked this in the oven, face down just like this, on 375 for about 35 to 45 minutes until I inserted a knife in the middle and it went through very smoothly, almost like butter. Then I take it out and let it cool. So you see this is cool enough for me to pick up and touch. And I scrape the flesh of the butternut squash from the skin. If you get a piece of skin in there, it's no big deal. You just kind of rub your flesh off and pull the skin out. So you do this with the whole butternut squash. I've already pre-done a lot of it for you guys. We ended up with about 4 cups of squash. It was a little under 3 when I measured it before I started scooping this piece. So today we are going to add in extra special ingredients, and those ingredients that we're going to add are from our own garden. We ended up with a ton of this squash zucchini hybrid from our neighbor, and it looks like this before we cut it. We just keep getting a lot of these, guys, and so I took just one and chopped it up into this bite-sized pieces here, and I took about 1 small onion and did this here, this dice. Faith is going to run over and saute this for us in our cast iron pan. That cucumber came from our garden too. I actually made fresh pickles, and I'll be sharing that video with you guys soon too. So for this dish, I take the butternut squash and add it to the blender. Now, this is a big enough squash that it's going to make actually 2 portions of pasta sauce. So I will use half for our dinner tonight, and the other half is going to go in the freezer for another day. So this is meal prep, like amazing meal prep, because then all you have to do is cook your noodles and heat up your sauce and pour it over. Gabriel's going to help me with our blending here. So we're going to put everything in the blender. All the squash is in the blender now. After I put the squash in the blender, I'm going to add the ingredient to make this nice and creamy. Any brand of coconut milk will do. I like this one because it is only coconut milk, water, and guar gum. Depending on how much squash you end up with, that will tell you how much coconut milk you need. You want it to be a nice creamy consistency, not too runny, pretty thick. So what we're gonna do is add in 1.5 cans of coconut milk, and then if we need to add the other half, we will. So today, for spices, Faith, turn that down a little bit, honey. For our spices today, we have 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 3/4 of a teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt, 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, a pinch of crushed red pepper, just for flavor, doesn't really give any heat at all, and about 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. The cinnamon also doesn't really add like a cinnamon taste. It gives it that extra pop that you want for this dish. So we're going to go ahead and add this in. Gabriel, you want to add this in?
What is it?
Spices.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm trying to...
It's not a big deal. It's okay. All right, so flip our switch. Turn it up. Stop, please. right, so I'm gonna add actually a little bit more of our coconut milk here.
Yay!
Because our sauce is still too thick. Oh yeah, this is gonna be great. Let's see if that makes a difference. Oh, air pockets, okay. I need my tamper stick and my kids happen to lose it, so we're just gonna have to stir it occasionally here to make sure that we're getting everything blended well.
I didn't touch it.
Alright, so everything seems to be blended pretty nicely. Stir this up a bit. Faith, how's our zucchini and onion looking?
Good, actually.
Okay, so we're gonna come right on over here and check out the zucchini and onion. I forgot to add my basil.
This was so good. Is that good?
It's perfect, so we're gonna go ahead and turn that off.
It's great.
You just want your onion to be a little bit translucent here. The zucchini looks nice and cooked through. You can see a few pieces that are thicker that didn't get all the way cooked, but that's fine. As it rests here, it will get finished.
Good job, Faith.
So, I had basil to add into today's dish. What I'm gonna do instead, because I forgot to put it in here, and just like I told you guys before, cooking doesn't have to be a perfection thing. We're gonna take this basil, and we're gonna chop it up and add it on top of the dish to give it a really bright flavor. This basil also came fresh from our garden because my husband is amazing.
Whoa. I can touch that.
So we're just gonna chop up our basil here really quickly. Can you have some? Sure, grab that bit right there.
Oh.
It's okay, get some more. I won't cut you. There you go. All right, so we've got a nice fine dice on this basil here. We're gonna sprinkle some of that on top of our dish because basil isn't a usual ingredient that I add to this dish. I just really love it when it's fresh in the summertime, so I throw it in almost everything. Here is the noodles that we use today. I already cooked these noodles. They're already boiled and strained. These noodles are red lentil fusilli. They were purchased at Walmart, which pretty much anybody can find local to them if you're in the United States. And the only ingredient in these noodles are red lentil flour. There is absolutely no gluten in these noodles. They are a good source of protein and fiber. They're low fat and low sodium food and cholesterol free. They have potassium and iron. So there's no need to add any extra protein to this dish. And we also have our fats already in this dish because we added the coconut milk into our sauce. There's fiber in our butternut squash and also in our zucchini and onions. So we'll be right back, guys, to show you a finished up plate. All right, guys, so I'm back with my finished product here. All I did was mix together our sauce, noodles, and already cooked zucchini and onions. Mixed it together well, added a sprinkle of fresh basil on top, and added a sprinkle of fresh cherry tomatoes from the garden. I hope you all enjoy, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks. Bye.